आ गया मैं स्क्रीन में? Gone live? Hello everyone, good evening. I hope you can see me and hear me loud and clear. We'll just wait for a couple of more minutes and then we will start. Great, voice is clear. Hello Garvit, hello Devashish, good evening. Good evening Saksham. It's a really cold day in Gurgaon today. So I might be having that jacket chain a bit more up than the usual days. Hello Samartha, good evening. Alright Saksham, I hope this session helps you today. We'll just start in a couple of more minutes, just waiting for a few more folks to join in. Hello Garvit, this is not that session and I think you can relax a bit on your first year or second year. You can start your preparation from your third year, but keeping your reading habit intact and your quant skills intact is something that is primary. Hello Aniket. Devashish, I think Garvit already did, so yeah, go ahead if you want to. Yes, Asta, eventually it might help you out because I will be talking a lot about time management, so that will be helpful in your usual CAT preparation as well. This is majorly prioritized on people with work experience, but I think fresher CAT aspirants can also take out a few points here and there that can be helpful for them to drive out a strategy for their respective preparation. If you have 8 years of work experience, Devashish, I think you can prioritize executive programs as well as take both CAT and GMAT and see wherever your luck goes and takes you there. All right, I'll keep the questions aside and I'll start the session. So this session today, good evening everyone. My name is Kaushal. This is another part of the webinar series that we are launching for you to help out on your CAT preparation journey. And today's session is about how to manage CAT preparation with a full-time job. If you are a working professional, how exactly do you do it together with your CAT preparation or vice versa? So first and foremost point that comes in while managing your time, and especially when you are already working, is the importance of understanding why exactly do you want to take CAT or why exactly do you want to do an MBA. If you have a very strong why MBA or why CAT, that makes you actually passionate about your goal, and that makes it automatically take out some time. So a good CAT score will ensure that you have top B school calls. Top B school calls and converting them will ensure that you achieve package transformation. People have actually been able to raise their packages from by 3 to 4x or even 5x or 6x before an MBA and after an MBA. So whatever you're working on right now, you ought to feel and know that this can be one of the major points that why I'm doing an MBA, package transformation. Second is lifestyle transformation. The people you will be hanging around with or you will be actually meeting or making friends with at an MBA is very different from your usual undergrads. In an undergrad degree, we are basically located to or localized to the people who are pursuing the same degree. If you are an engineer, you will be around engineers. If you are a BSc honors, if you are a BCom graduate, or if you are a Bachelor of Arts graduate, you'll be around Bachelor of Arts people. But what an MBA provides you is actually different sets of people coming from different sets of backgrounds, different sets of culture, different sets of age groups. Some are freshers, some are not. Some have a BTech degree, some have a BSc degree, some are coming from BCom or Bachelor of Arts. So very varied profiles that you might get, and you will have to work together on course assignments, projects. So obviously you'll make friends. So the lifestyle transformation that I'm talking about here is actually brought about by meeting this plethora of variety of folks that you'll find at an MBA. Says another can be a strong why MBA for you that you might not find that in your current job or might not have found that in your undergrad degree. And third is a career transformation, of course. Let's say you are trying to make a switch from a particular IT industry to a particular business side of kind of industry, or you want to get into leadership roles and you're not getting any right now, or you want to manage people, or those kind of roles is something that is more appealing for you, which you're not getting before your MBA, whatever you're currently working on, that is also ensured by an MBA degree. So these 3 points can be your primary base for why exactly MBA, but again, depends on person to person, depends entirely on you, on why exactly are you investing your 3 crucial years of the prime of your life, of your 20s, when you have the most energy, when you are the most youthful, towards a journey which is long. 3 years is not a short time. 1 year of CAT preparation and 2 years of MBA degree. So it will be entirely dependent on you to have a very, very strong why for that. And what that clear why will ensure that when you have a clarity of the reasoning for your goal, you actually become passionate about it. And when you're passionate about something, it automatically renders you take out some time to achieve that goal. You don't have to put in extra efforts, or you don't have to be very, very, mindful about it. If you're passionate about it, you will automatically start finding time to pursue that. So it's very important to understand why exactly do you want to take CAT, and henceforth why exactly do you want to do an MBA. That can be a primary motivating factor or primary initial point to start off with on how exactly you can manage your time of your CAT preparation along with your current job that you're pursuing. These 3 points that I'll just summarize can be a strong base to start off from. The package transformation, high packages after an MBA, the lifestyle transformation, the variety of folks and the variety of cultural people that we meet, and career transformation. The kind of jobs we get after an MBA will be very, very different from pre-MBA days. I'll just go through some comments because this is the end of my first slide. At the right side, I have put in some dream B schools that you might have. I'm Ahmedabad, I'm Bangalore, I'm Calcutta, and I'm Lucknow. I was a part of IIM Calcutta. So third one is actually our auditorium, which is our iconic image. Right in front of that auditorium is a huge lake. The first one is IIM Ahmedabad, the iconic red bricks building. I'm Bangalore and I'm Lucknow's auditorium as well. That's where their graduation usually happens, right in front of their auditorium. That stage you see that's precisely where their convocation happens. I'm Lucknow. Sir, were you also preparing while working? I was. I will be covering my story as well in the second last slide that I'm trying to plan today. But recently, IIM Lucknow calls their alumnus students to place around 72 students for the. I don't understand that comment, sir. I'm working professional and it is the 2 years of experience. I have a 9 to 5 job Monday to Friday. Need your expertise to how to manage the studies. If you just have a 9 to 5 job, you are in good luck, because I'll actually be giving you an example of how your schedule might look like, and I have assumed that you'll be working from 9 to 7 or something. So you have 2 hours extra there. You can fit in those 2 hours for maybe relaxation or more preparation. Neha. Good evening, sir. I'm currently doing my BCom honors from Calcutta University. Due to medical reasons, I'm unable to give my SEM 1 exam. I started my UG from May 29 and will end it by Feb 26. Very unfortunate for you, Indian Edits. Take care. If you're gonna finish your degree by Feb 2026, CAT is a bit far a journey for you. Like I told, I think, Garvit in the beginning, that you right now what you can do is start building a reading habit, as well as try to have a practice for mocks for quant as well. All right, I'll move on to the second slide that I have. The first and foremost thing on how exactly to manage your preparation with the work is efficient time management. What does efficient time management actually, how exactly do you achieve efficient time management? Is to have a realistic goal setting for each day. You ought to have, right when you wake up, and maybe right when you are having a breakfast, or right before the night before the previous day, night before the current day, you can set a goal for yourself for the subsequent day. What that makes you achieve is that you have already determined that these are the things that I want to do in this particular day, and this is something that I want to achieve. A very important word in that first point is realistic. Don't go berserk on your aims and achieve or goals that I will do this, I'll read a book, I'll also do my work, I will also do a full length mock or so on and so, and I'll also finish a movie or a TV series that I was planning to watch. Don't make such unrealistic goals. Set a realistic goal, identify yourself first, introspect, and set a realistic goal for each day. And at the end of each day, when you actually achieve that goal, it actually motivates you to do the same thing again and again. And when it becomes a habit, the entire process smoothens out and you achieve much more than you might have without this particular discipline. So the first and foremost, realistic goal setting for each day. Second, minimize your distractions. And a very important distraction these days is phones. We are almost incomplete without our phones. Some will say we are half cyborgs already, because we cannot function without our phones, without our earpods, without our headphones, without our music, without our laptops. But to minimize such distractions is very necessary if you want to actually manage your time efficiently. If not done, you will never realize that you wanted to start, or you started from watching a reel on food making, and when exactly did you reach to cute cat videos? So those kind of things happen when you are not trying to minimize your distractions, which might be social media, which might be your phone in general, which might be anything digital or non-digital. You ought to have a set target on minimizing those distractions to effectively manage your time. Third is delegating your tasks. See, there are certain tasks, let's say I am a part of a particular flat, I live in a particular flat where I live with 3 more people, and I have to send out certain clothes or certain groceries I want to order. I can always delegate those tasks to those flatmates of mine. I don't have to necessarily do it myself. That will save 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes time. And these actual buckets make an ocean when you combine them together. Same goes at your work experience as well, or at your workplace as well. There might be certain tasks that you want to do, but you can obviously delegate them to save on your time. And while you are saving that time, you actually take out some free time for yourself, which you might denote to your CAT preparation journey. So delegating time is also a very effective and efficient way of managing your time. And fourth is prioritizing your responsibilities. So life basically works when you want to effectively manage your time. Life basically works among 2 graphs, which is urgency and importance. Certain tasks can be important but might not be so urgent, and certain tasks can be very urgent but might not be so important. Like, let's say I am finished with my groceries. Urgent but not important. I will not die, I can order food, but it is urgent because I want to ensure that it is going to happen. And certain tasks are important but not urgent. Like I have to fill my CAT form, but not today. It is important, but it is not urgent. So when you have divided your tasks into urgency and importance, as well as prioritize those tasks and responsibilities, you are able to effectively manage your time. How? Because you know this is my first thing that I have to do. This is something that I have to definitely do, and this is something that can wait. I can delay to a later day, and set it out as a goal setting for the next day that I want to do. So prioritizing is that's how helpful for your time management. This was effect. How do you effectively manage your day? Next part that comes in, once you have identified that how exactly do you effectively time manage your day, you will find out certain buckets of free time available in those particular dates. Like as soon as you define the following in respective time buckets, your work commitments, which can be 9 to 5 for certain people, 9 to 7 for certain people, 9 to 9 for certain people as well. So there is a respective time bucket that you can define. Personal commitments come in not on a daily basis, but sometimes it can that you have all you this is the Valentine week going on, so you obviously have a personal commitment to, let's say, on a particular weekend or something. So 2 3 hours 4 hours there. Again, divide them and define them on the respective time buckets that they're going to take. And third is commute time. We usually if you're working from office, we usually have a lot of commute time. If we are living in bigger cities, Gurgaon has a traffic problem, Bangalore has a bigger traffic problem, Pune also has a traffic problem, so Mumbai has a huge traffic problem. So a lot of these cities actually take up certain commute times to the workplace that you're actually working at. If you can identify the respective time buckets that these commute times take, you will identify that there's a lot of scope and a lot of opportunity in there that you can actually explore on using again for your CAT preparation. Because we live in a digital world, it's not a necessity that you ought to have a book with you or you ought to have a laptop with you to study. You can just scroll through your phone and start reading an article, or you can just scroll through your phone and have a pen and notepad and start solving some practice sessions. You can do a variety of things during this commute time. So define the following in your respective time buckets. How exactly does my work commitment look like? How exactly does my personal commitment look like on a daily basis or on a weekly basis? And what is my commute time? This will help you identify the available free time on a daily basis for other things. What other things? It can be sleep, it can be relaxation, but right now we are on a CAT preparation journey, so that other thing should be prioritized upon your CAT prep. So as soon as you identify these free buckets of time that you have out of those 24 hours that we are given by the grace of God, you start allotting this fixed time slots for your CAT prep each day and stick to it, because in CAT preparation, consistency is the key. You lose out on consistency, you lose out on 1 to 2 percentile here and there, and you lose out on top 5 to 6 B school calls, which you could have easily gotten if you would have been consistent about your preparation. So allot these fixed times as soon as you identify the free time slots or free time buckets that you might have to CAT preparation each day. Stick to it, adhere to it, be disciplined and be consistent about it, because consistency is the key. Then after you have identified these free spaces or interstitial spaces that you have in the respective day for your CAT preparation, diversify the allotted time slot equally across all 3 sections. Why? Because all sections are important. The number of questions differs in each section. It is 24 in VARC, it is 20 in DILR, and 22 in Quant. But roughly the weightage will come on an average similar, because the toughness level varies from the respective sections, as well as it's very important to clear all 3 sections. If you have a 99.99 in quantitative aptitude and 75 percentile in, let's say, VARC, or 50 percentile in DILR, you will not be clearing a cutoff of a particular section, and you will miss out on the top B school calls that we put in our first slide as our DMB schools. So we ought not to do that. We ought to diversify our time, that the free spaces that we had identified in the first 2 steps equally among the 3 sections, so that we are able to cover all 3 sections on a daily basis. And yes, last but not the least, because you are working professionals, make the best use of your weekends, make the best use of your leaves, make the best use of your holidays. Those are the times that we actually want to shirk around. We like finally a relaxation day and finally a peaceful day. Why study at all today? It's a weekend. Why not party all day? That's not how you achieve a 99 plus or 99.5 plus percentile in CAT. You ought to be disciplined. You ought to be consistent about your preparation. And weekends are actually something that you can leverage and exploit so much, because you are free. You have absolutely no work commitments that day. you have absolutely no commute time that day. You might have some personal commitments that day. Specifically in this week, you might have more of those personal commitments that day. But having said that, you ought to leverage that free time, which is in huge quantity on weekends, leaves, and holidays, to actually prepare for your CAT exam. In the right side, I have mentioned a chart where it mentions what exactly time management looks like. So it first and foremost is prioritizing your tasks, then monitoring that exactly you're following those priorities. Third is alertness on if you are not being able to, so how do you actually include or exclude certain deprioritized tasks or certain very high priority tasks. Be efficient about your time management. Set up reminders. If you have set up, like in the third point, if you have allotted fixed time slots for your CAT preparation each day, you can set up an alarm 15 to 20 minutes before that your CAT preparation right now will be starting. Let's say 8 p.m. is something that you have set up. So at 8 p.m., before 8 p.m., at 7:45 p.m., you can set up an alarm that QA practice session or whatever you want to practice upon. You can set up an alarm. So reminders always help with efficient time management and, of course, planning. The planning can be done early in the morning as soon as you wake up or right before the previous day, which is a better option in my opinion, because you have a more peaceful sleep if you have actually goals defined for your next day. So plan that out. Like I said in the first point that I mentioned in this slide, realistic goal setting for each day. Plan those goals out and then try to execute them with the respective matrices or features that I talked about. I'll just try to cover the comments that I have received recently after this slide. I work even on Saturday on a schedule of 9 to 7. Someday work hour extend from 9 to 8. How to plan? Sundays will be good for you, and I will be showing an example of how exactly you can manage your time with work on those kind of working hours as well. Sometimes we do have to deprioritize certain things on basis upon my first slide on why exactly do I want to do an MBA. Is the work that I am doing is more important for me right now, or the MBA journey will be more important for me? And I have shown you the reasonings that you can look at before making that decision. Sir, can I prepare CAT while preparing for bank exams? See, I will usually suggest that you, like they say in Hindi, do naw pe sawar nahi hona chahiye. So you can, of course, people are capable enough, but if you have a focused goal or if you have a focused, let's say, target, then you should not be focusing it by, trying to give different exams, trying to put eggs in multiple baskets and missing out on a very good percentile that you might have scored just because you were trying to do 3-4 things at a time. Humans in general are not very good multitaskers, scientifically speaking. Some people can be, but in general. Should I prepare for CAT if my past academic is not that good? I have been having this type of questions multiple times. Yeah, you should prioritize CAT. Percentile, a 99 plus percentile does get you very good calls, even if your past CATs are not very good. Neha, I think I've already answered your question. Alright, I think I covered the recent comments. Moving on, this is the example that I was talking about, weekdays versus weekends for a working professional. So weekdays, Monday to Friday. How exactly can we diversify it? I have actually counted it from 9 to 7. I prefer the military settings. So I have written it as 9 to 19. That basically means 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. is what your office time looks like. How exactly can you make efficient use of that time? You can read articles or editorials while you are in commute. Commute can take 20 minutes to 40 minutes or even 10-15 minutes. So you can read articles or editorials or even pick up a small book in any office breaks. If you are commuting yourself through a two-wheeler or something, you will not be able to read an article or editorial. So in any kind of office breaks, there are a lot of office breaks. If you are a working professional, especially in corporates, you will know there are a lot of tea breaks, there are a lot of coffee breaks, there are a lot of random walking breaks right after lunches and so on and so forth. Prioritize that. Prioritize to read an article or two. Prioritize that for your CAT preparation instead of wasting away your time on a lot of breaks during your office time. That will not just ensure that you have a good reading habit or something, but you'll also ensure that you're making very, very efficient use of your time, because these are some interstitial. What interstitial basically means is spaces that might be missed out on in space of something very, very close by. So these interstitial times gets missed out on a daily basis, and that might if you're gonna add on to these interstitial times, you might end up with hours and hours that you might have wasted throughout the year or throughout the month even, which you could have used for your CAT preparation. So use these office breaks, use these commute times to just read, not do quant or DILR maybe, but just read. Or if you can, if you're sitting in an auto, if you're sitting in a cab, or if you're sitting in a metro, you can obviously practice 2 to 3 RCs in between as well. It hardly takes 15-20 minutes, because you ought to solve 4 RCs in the CAT exam apart from the 8 questions from other sections that VRC asks. So 4 RCs in 20 minutes, basically 20-25 minutes, roughly comes to around 2 to 3 RCs in 10 to 15 minutes. So you ought to build that habit, that 2 to 3 RCs in 20 minutes is something that I can do, practice. And any office break, I'll try to read some article, editorial, any news snippet or something like that, so that my knowledge also improves and my reading habit develops and my reading speed also develops. And try and solve the practice questions posted in iQuanta paid group. That's also something that you can do during your office breaks. So let's say you have a lunch break of 1 hour, you finish your lunch within 15-20 minutes and use the remaining time to try and solve the practice questions posted on the iQuanta paid group. 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. is the home time that I have identified for you on Monday to Friday. 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. as soon as you reach home after the long day of commute, I'm not considering the initial space or in between spaces. 7:30 you reach, then you freshen up a bit, you relax, you take some time, 15-20 minutes, and then at sharp 8 p.m. you can set up a time, that an alarm, and start practicing quant. 12 to 15 questions, 1.5 hours, 15 to 20 if you can cover, that's well and good as well. Quant practice. 9:30 to 10 p.m. a dinner break. 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. is iQuanta classes on a daily basis, where we cover all 3 sections. That is something that you can look at. And 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. 2 LRDI sets, 1 hour, half an hour each set. Once you have solved those sets, I am pretty sure that after such a long tiring day, you'll have a very, very good sleep and have 7 hours or 6 to 7 hours of sleep. On a weekend, what you can do, like I said, weekends are supposed to be leveraged and exploited upon, especially if you are a working professional, because there is no day like weekend. You will totally relate to this, that most of us are usually working from Monday to Friday, just waiting for those Saturdays and Sundays, because those are those amazing times that we have only for ourselves, where we do not have to see our respective managers or the colleagues that we might not like. So weekends is something ideal, but don't waste them away. These are very, very huge chunks of time that you can prioritize for your CAT preparation, which should not get wasted. So that's why I've tried to cover how a typical or an exemplary schedule can look like on a Saturday and Sunday. You wake up at 8, you freshen up, you do things, and at 8:30 to 9, read. It's a very good habit to read either early in the morning as soon as you start your day, or late at night right before sleeping. That's why I've started in both weekdays and weekends by reading. 8:30 to 9, you read articles, editorials, or pick up any book. Pick up any fictional book, non-fictional book, anything that you might like, but read. What will that do? That will improve your reading speed as well as comprehensive skills. 9 to 11:30, 2.5 hours of QA practice, and somewhere around that, so that you are, you can sit down for, that will actually check that either you can sit down for 2.5 hours in a single sitting or not. That is essential, because actual CAT will be of 2 hours. So to develop that kind of practice, and especially on QA, because if you are weak at quant is one section that you can specifically improve from, let's say, a 0 grade to a 100 grade in a matter of 4 to 5 months if you are doing enough practice and if you are understanding enough concepts. It is the only section that is achievable. This kind of thing is achievable because the syllabus and setup is very, very defined in quant. So practice quant a lot, 9 to 11:30, and because after that reading, your mind will be fresh. You can take up a lot of questions, so practice a lot of quant. After that, take 1 hour break, 11:30, 12:30, chill around. Do nothing, watch something, or just, talk to your parents, talk to your friends, do anything. Do not study. Take consistent breaks are very important. We do not want to make our mind pressure cookers. Pressure cookers don't have those kind of efficiencies that normal pans do in a way. But yeah, take consistent breaks so that your mind actually gets that relaxation, that much needed relaxation, so that you are efficient enough for your preparation journey. 12:30 to 1:30, again you can attempt 2 LR sets, because you have already covered bits of VARC in the initial part of the day by reading, then did a lot of quant practice, then cover LRDI sets. 1:30 to 2:30, have your lunch. 232. 6. Have a full length mock analysis. Why have I identified 3 hours 30 minutes here? 2 hours of actual full length mock and 1.5 hours of analysis. Analysis is much more important than actually attempting that mock, because an analysis actually helps you identify two aspects of things. One is what exactly is your strength, what exactly is your weakness, what are your strength points, what are your weak topics, and second, what kind of mistakes are you making. Are you making silly mistakes more? Are you making time bound mistakes more? Are you making conceptual mistakes more? These respective distinctions will actually help you prepare faster, better, and in a much more efficient manner, because you have identified your weak areas, so you ought to practice them more. You maybe not ought to practice your strength areas much, just 10 questions perhaps each day, and then you are done and directly take a full length mock. But in your weaker areas, as soon as you identify them from your full length mocks or sectional mocks, you identify that this is something that I need to prioritize to get an overall good percentile of 99 plus. So that is one way that it helps. Second, on the other aspect that I talk about, what is the kind of mistakes that you're doing? Silly mistakes more, time bound mistakes more, or conceptual mistakes more will actually help you identify that if I'm making more conceptual videos, I ought to watch conceptual videos more, I ought to attend live lectures more. If you're making time bound mistakes more, I ought to have my practice sessions with a set limit of time so that I can improve upon that. If I'm making silly mistakes more, I ought to be more focused and concentrated during my any kind of whenever I'm taking any mock or any other sectional or any other practice session that I'm doing. 6 to 8, go out, relax, sports, hobby, denote to that. Again, mind relaxation, very important. Do whatever. 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I have considered this in a summer kind of a schedule. You can shift these each by an hour and it will become a winter kind of a schedule. So 6 to 8, relax. If you are into sports, you do that. If you're into a particular hobby, you do that. You go out, have some fun, relax, take a walk. 8 to 9, verbal practice. After your relaxation, we start with verbal practice because it's a bit easier and calmer thing to do. So in you can practice some questions on para completion, para jumbles, para summary, or odd one out in that 1 hour. After that relaxation comes 9 to 10:30, attempt 3 LRDI sets. Once you have relaxed enough, once your mind is free and right, make them chill, then you start attempting those LRDI sets, which can be tricky sometimes. So it takes a lot of mind game in there. After that, take up a QA practice for, let's say, just 1.5 hours again. Now that we have equally diversified our time, at 12 a.m. to 1 a.m., just an RC practice. It will actually help you read. That will also make you a bit sleepy because of the tiring day that you have for all your preparation. Attempt your 4 to 6 sets and have a sound sleep and go to work next day if it's a Sunday, or repeat if it's a Saturday. So this is something that an example schedule might look like, but we all know how much it works that we make a schedule and stick to it. But this should roughly give you an idea on how exactly you can differentiate or distinguish between one, weekdays and weekends, and second, your respective time frames that you have. The first thing that I talk about, after defining your time buckets, that this is my office time, this is my home time on a working day, and on weekends this is my relaxation time and this is my actual preparation time. You will be able to denote and diversify time for all 3 sections of CAT preparation. I'll just go through the comments if there are any new comments. I hope this does not scare you a bit, but this is like I said, just an example schedule. It is not supposed to be religiously followed. Of course, your schedule will look as per your working time, as per your areas of interest, as per your capabilities of how much time that you can denote to your CAT preparation. Hello sir, I am planning to quit my job this year in June, completing 1 year with the firm. So will this gap after resigning my job till I join any of my dream B school will affect my selection? Rohan, I'll suggest that it is fine to leave your job in June to just prioritize CAT. But having said that, right after CAT, GDPI preparation does not take that much of your time. So right after CAT, right after the November end, start looking for another job. That's precisely what I did. As soon as I had also left my job in my third attempt, and after my November, I realized that until June is when college starts. So after December, I started looking for work because I always want to be up to something, but it actually reflects well on you as well that you did not sit idle from December to June. So it's okay to take that break from June to November if you want to prioritize CAT, but I'll suggest that start looking for a work right after your CAT ends, because GDPI preparation does not take that kind of time or discipline or consistency like CAT does. Rashi has asked, sir, I got 3.6 LPA from college placement as technical engineer trainee. Should I accept it? Any work is good work, Rashri. If you don't have any other options, do accept it. Work experience does reflect well on your resume always, and it teaches you a lot. Apart from the work that you'll be doing, it also teaches you teamwork. It also gives you some soft skills on communication, specifically written communication if you are part of longer or a larger organization, because they will make you write some mails to sometimes leaderships as well. So you understand written communication much better fashion if you're working for a corporate. So any work is good. You will understand teams, gain some soft skills, if not the harder skills that might be relevant for your MBA journey. Tripti has asked, does age matter in MBA? I'm 27 years with 2 years of work experience. And by MBA, I'll be 30. Will it affect placements? No, Tripti, it does not. We actually are president of our college, which is a student selected body, and student selected POR in our college, position of responsibility, was actually 35. So the previous president was actually a fresher who was just 22. So it does not matter at all that what your age is in a B school, and does not affect your placements either. What does affect is what your profile looks like, what kind of personality do you carry, and what exactly do you bring on the table for the firm. Rashi has also asked, sir, this year I got 33 percentile in CATs. Now what should I do? You should start preparing right now. It is always possible. We still have 9 months, and it is always possible to make or raise that percentile from 33 to maybe 90 or 95, even if you are practicing diligently and being consistent about your preparation. So don't let your past failures affect you at all, or past performances affect you at all. What right now your priority should be is to get a very good percentile this year. I hope I have covered all these comments. I'll move on to the next slide, because some of you wanted to know, was I doing work during my preparation? So I'll try to cover my journey here. So my journey started with my first attempt in CAT was in 2016 as a 4th year BTech student. My 7th semester during my placements, I scored a 99.97 percentile. I had calls from A, C, L, and I could not convert A. I could not convert C. I did convert L, but I chose not to go because I wanted to prioritize my work experience, and it wasn't my dream B school. My dream B schools were A, B, C, frankly speaking, and I also did not call me. Yeah. So A, C, L were my calls, and I did not convert A and C, and chose not to go in L. Then I joined Cognizant as a part of my college placements as an associate in July 2017. I was working as a part of their Google automation team in Gurgaon, directly from Google office, and I worked there until 15 months. So I joined that in July, but because this was my first time earning, first time living independently, I completely ignored my time management, consistent practice that is supposed to happen if you want to prepare diligently for CAT. So in my second attempt in CAT in 2017, while working, I ended up with a 98.94 percentile, being a general engineer male with a 6-pointer in my CGPA as in my BTech. I did not get any top B school calls. Then I did a few solo trips to gain back the lost self-confidence that I had, because I had scored very well during my first CAT attempt and scored not so well during my second CAT attempt. I lost a bit of my self-confidence. I lost a bit of my self-esteem. I felt like a failure. So I did a few solo trips to gain back that self-confidence. And I also gained some clarity due to those kind of trips, and it made me introspect. And I decided that CAT 2018 will be my third and the last attempt at CAT. I will not be taking any more attempts. If I screw up this time, this is going to be the last time that I am trying to go for an MBA. As soon as I came back from those trips, I immediately set up reading goals that I will be covering 35 books a year on an average. And I did manage to end up with 30 to 35 books at least until before my MBA journey. Then time, because you have a lot of dependencies, because you have a lot of commitments on work, personal as well as others, that book goal usually reduces, but I still read roughly around 25 to 30 books every year. I defined my schedule and religiously followed it. Just like I had mentioned in my previous slide, that you ought to identify those interstitial spaces. So I identified what exactly my work hours look like, what exactly my commute time look like, and if I can commute from a bike or an auto, I can make use of that time for reading or something. and religiously followed my schedule that as soon as I come back, I can take up a sectional or I can do some practice sessions or something like that, and diversified it across 3 sections. I used to feel that DILR is something that I'm not very comfortable with, but I still denoted some parts of that identified time every day to DILR as well, and some other sections of quant which I felt that I am not very good at. I denoted those kind of time to that as well. I attempted a lot of sectionals because I was not part of any coaching, but I had joined a couple of test series. So I attempted a lot of sectionals from them so that I get a clear picture on what exactly are my weak topics and what kind of mistakes I'm doing until July. And then I took almost on an average 4 full-length mocks per week, July onwards, while working. My work hours used to look like somewhere around 10 to 6. And while working, I used to at least try and give 2 full-length mocks on weekdays and 2 full-length mocks on weekends and analyze them. What that resulted in my third attempt in CAT in 2018, I scored a 99.83 percentile, and I had never scored a 99 plus percentile in VRC before. In my first attempt, I had scored a 99.96, I think, in DILR and 99.90 in quant. But this was my first time that I scored a 99 plus in VRC, possibly because of those reading goals that I had set up and religiously followed. I also scored a 99.91 in quantitative aptitude in my third attempt. IIM Calcutta was my best call, and I did end up converting that. In the right side, you'll see that that's a picture of me wearing the dram cell kurta of IIM Calcutta. And then I went back home in December to relax before the interview process begin. Is precisely when I realized that you join a college in June, so I did not want to waste my time. I started at December end. I started looking for more job opportunities until June as well. But because I had been diligently preparing for this entire time, and mind does need a bit of breaks and needs a bit of relaxation to not go berserk, is why I planned that after my CAT, as soon as my CAT was over, I went back home in December, which is in Kota, to relax, so that my interview processes I can be calmer and composed and do it well this time. Let me go through some comments. I think I've covered this. I'm doing nights like 6:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. How my study plan will look like. Like I said in this slide, you ought to identify. You just defined your respective time buckets. 3:30 a.m. is what you mean, yeah, I think. So you got to define your respective time buckets. Like you have already defined the working hours that you have, 6:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. to 3:30 a.m. Then work commitments is defined as a time bucket. Personal commitments is defined as a time bucket. Commute time will be defined as a time bucket. Take out some time for CAT preparation after you have identified these respective time buckets, because there will be some time left right after the 24 hours after you have identified these particular time buckets. Hi sir, I have joined a job which is of permanent night shift with off weekends. Also planning to starting CAT prep. Office time from 4 p.m. evening to 6 a.m. next morning. Help, including travel time. Like I said, they might when you actually identify your time buckets and plus the sleep you want to do 6 to 7 hours of sleep, you will find out certain times that you can actually denote to your CAT preparation. You just want to diversify it across all 3 sections, and that will be fine in the G. All right. So I'll just try to cover up a summary of the session that I recently conducted on how exactly do you manage your CAT preparation with your job. This is what a summary. Have a clearly defined goal and understanding of why exactly do you want to do a CAT or why exactly do you want to do an MBA for you. This will actually help you motivate as well as help you be persistent about your CAT preparation with the work experience that you are currently doing. Second, be aware and clear on your commitments and respective time that they will take. Be very, very aware. Like I said, define your commitments, work commitments, personal commitments, and commute times or other commitments that you might have, sleep times or lunch time. If you want to define that is also very good. And the respective time that will take, break it down to respective time buckets, subtract them from the 24 hours that you have. That is the time you have for your CAT preparation. So if you are very, very aware of your commitments as well as clear on what exactly the time it will take, will help you identify the CAT preparation time that you can denote. Third, allocate fixed study time every day for CAT preparation. Once you have identified the respective time in the second step, allocate fixed study time every day for your CAT preparation, diversified equally across all 3 sections, because all 3 sections are equally important and almost carry the same weightage. Fourth, strategically plan your daily practice. Like as soon as you have given some practice sessions or you have taken some mocks, you actually identify your strengths and weaknesses, both in terms of topics as well as in terms of what kind of mistakes you're making. So strategically plan your daily practice. You can do that before a week starts as well. And whenever you have those set times for your CAT preparation, you can prioritize more on your weaker areas. You can prioritize more on the kind of mistakes that you're doing to help you out from there, and deprioritize a bit on your strengths and directly take up full length mocks from there on. So you got to strategically plan your daily practice as well. Fifth, do not underestimate the power of mocks in their analysis. A full length mock is something, or even a sectional mock is something that you ought to attempt again and again. There are 2 points to that. A full length mock will actually not just help you identify strengths and weaknesses, it will also make you habitual to sit for 2 hours and attempt all three sections together. That is very, very essential, because in actual CAT, they will not let you switch between the different sections that they have, and they'll make you sit down for 2 hours and consistently do that particular test. So when you attempt a lot of mocks, you become habitual to it. It hardly affects you. It hardly affects your concentration. It hardly affects the efficiency or the effectiveness that you might have had at your paper. So do not underestimate the power of mocks, or even sectionals for that matter, and their analysis. Just doing the mocks does not suffice. A profound and thorough analysis is what you should have. For that, in iCat that we are recently launching, we have a very, very profound and very, very descriptive analysis, and you have to do nothing on that. Our AI software that is working in the back end will help you do that analysis for you, and you can actually identify the strength and weakness areas that you might have. Next is explore and utilize online resources and communities like iQuanta to the max. Because we live in a digital world, and because you are a working professional, you might not have time to sit around, or you might not have time to go to offline campuses or offline coachings or anything. So do utilize these online resources and communities that are available for free at least. Like iQuanta public group is available for free, where constant 24/7 doubt solving is resolved. iQuanta's website has a lot of free resources, past year papers, reading articles, and so on and so forth. You should be utilizing and exploring them to the maximum on whatever is available, so that when you're just scrolling your phone, you can just scroll through them as well. When you have a particular interstitial time, like I mentioned, you can use that to actually use these resources or communities for your CAT preparation. Next, balance your professional, personal life and prep life as well. Professional life and personal life balance is something that we talk about often, but because you are in a preparation journey right now, and it is indeed a journey, you ought to know how to exactly balance your professional, personal and prep life. How exactly does that happen? You prioritize, you assign some time, you assign some effort, and you assign some work hours for each of these respective things. You identify the commitments that each of these might take, and you prioritize and give them some time. So that's how you balance these respective aspects of your life. And last but not the least, stay positive, stay optimistic and resilient about your CAT journey, because as soon as if you lose hope during any of these times, you might be missing out on the amazing percentile that you might have gotten if you would have just continued going through. And that's why you ought to be resilient, and you ought to be positive and optimistic as well, because life is an ocean of opportunities. This is just an exam. Even if you do not do well in one mock, or if you do not do two mocks, these are just mocks. They just make you identify things. They are not actually the CAT exam. So do not lose hope if there is a certain topic that it is very hard for you to understand. There are people to help you out. If there is a certain mock that went way wrong, that you scored, let's say, just 5 or 6 marks in that, that's fine. It's a mock. That's precisely it is for, to make you identify on what kind of mistakes we are doing. It's just a mock. Do not let those kind of things affect you. Be always optimistic, be always positive, and be resilient in your CAT preparation journey. So yeah, that basically covers everything that I had for you on this. I will just go through the comments. If you have any other doubts, I hope that I'll keep it here so that you have the summary in front of you, and you have a vision, you have a goal, you do action on it, and that's precisely how you achieve success. So I'll just go through the comments. After getting some clarity about different MBA specialization from your session, I want to opt for strategy and general management. I think it aligns with my goals. Which colleges are best for this specialization? It's a simple Googleable question, Debashish. I'm not sure, but every IIM at least gives out a degree in general management only, and there are a lot of strategic courses in any top B school that you'll be a part of. So any and all top B schools are good for you. But a simple Google result might show you something different that I might not be aware of. So yeah, go ahead and Google. Second, rather than looking for other job opportunities after CAT, I wish to prepare for other management exams too. So will this be okay? Yes, you can say that if by other exams you mean ZAT, but ZAT finishes like within January first week. January to June, if you are also talking about GMAT, that is fine. You can obviously defend that in an interview. So yeah, it is fine if you are taking multiple management exams. That is fine, and you can defend that in your CAT interviews as well. I was not planning to give multiple exams. I was just relying on CAT because IIM ABC were my dream B schools. Is why I chose to pursue a career as soon as my CAT journey was ended. Sir, I'm an architect doing a full-time job and I really need to start from scratch my preparation. Need your expertise on this. Join the iQuanta course. We have a couple of sessions that are already done, but we will not be missing out on anything because they are all shared on the group that we have, both on Facebook. Plus, you'll find a lot of things already on your dashboard that you might have not been practicing right now. So, join the iQuanta course and start practicing those sessions. If you are an architect, you might be needing some bits of more practice on quants. So there are a lot of quant practice assignments already available on the dashboard. They have been 2 topics that have already been covered. You'll find a lot of practice questions on that as well. Join, and like I've always said, the right time to start your preparation is right now. So go ahead and enroll. And even if you do not want to enroll, at the end of this session, I'll put a link, a WhatsApp group link in the description, which is actually free for you to join, and where we actually share a lot of free resources, where there is a community as well, plus the Facebook group link, so that you can be a part of the community where you can actually get your doubts resolved 24/7, as well as in the WhatsApp group. If you have any doubts or concerns, you can directly have those solutions there. But yeah, I'll still suggest that join the course. It has a lot of things that if you have not, that you might be missing out on. All right, I think if there are not any more questions, okay. Can you put on your views on marketing, especially digital marketing in 2024? Okay, my views. In my view, it is a very good market to be, a good career to aspire for, because the world is turning digital and marketing is the way to go if you want to grow any kind of business. So if you know any good digital marketing skills, it's always a good plus to have in your profile. So my view would be that it is a very future looking career aspect to have. And yeah, if you're interested in the field, definitely develop some skills, do some internships or projects on that will reflect on your profile and help you with placements in the respective sector. Sir, can I prepare CAT preparation along with banking exams? I think you have already asked that, and I think I have already answered that. Seriously, I know that starting from basics it will require, but honestly, how much time it will be different for us from the full-time CAT aspirant? See, you will have to denote a bit more time, or help understand to manage your time in a bit more rather hectic way than, let's say, a person who is just in college. But that's precisely what life teaches you. If you're something very passionate about, if you have a goal that is very very clear in your head, that I want to do an MBA for so and so reason, and I can do that with certain kind of a schedule that I can create for myself, I don't think it will have much of a difference even if you start from basics, because like I said, quant is one section where it is very very achievable for you to go from, let's say, if you consider yourself from a 0 standard to 100 standard within 4 to 5 months if you are diligently practicing and if you are conceptually sound. DILR is basically a practice game because the syllabus is not defined. So if you attempt 2 to 3 sets every day, that will be a very good start, and that hardly requires half an hour. Same goes for VRC as well. If you have a good reading habit, you will be able to crack RCs, because your reading habit is good. You will be able to cover the entirety of the section in the actual CAT exam as well as in your full length mocks, as well as your comprehensive skills will improve with time of reading. So you'll be covering that section as well. So when you start doing it on a daily basis, you actually break down that huge high climb that CAT preparation is to very small chunks of small climbs, and that is very achievable once you figure out the respective time that you can denote on a daily basis in the gym. Yotika, hi sir, I left my job in October for CAT 2023, but I scored very bad. Should I take a gap year and prepare well for CAT 2024, or should I join a job again and prepare along with it? Yotika, it's fine to have a 1 year gap. That is okay, and you actually have a good enough story as well that you were actually working and you can defend that. But having said that, again, if you are taking a gap and if you're entirely prioritizing it on CAD preparation, and if you need that, and if you still have some time, do take up some project or internship, because what an interviewer before your B school entrance is looking at is how productive you are about your time, and they might ask you that what exactly did your schedule look like, and if they see there was any kind of spaces that were available that you were not utilizing well, might not sit well. So if you can manage it with the job, that's fine as well, because that's what I have tried to cover in this particular session as well, that it is possible to manage it with your work as well. But if you think that you are not still ready for that, it is fine to have a year gap. So any extra effort tips or methods that may help us a bit more? What I can think of is, like I said, utilizing your weekends well, plus utilizing those interstitial times, those commute times, because we do miss out on those commute times as well. So utilizing those kind of commute times is something that also becomes, when collaborated together, becomes very, very useful for you. Would you be able to take a session on a types of MBA program on offer? I already did that. Like the MBA specializations was kind of similar, no? Which work experience fits which MBA programs and competitive exams that should be prioritized based candidates' work experience? Oh, that will be a very short session to have, Devashish, but yeah, feedback taken. I'm not enjoying my current engineering job anymore. Recently, I started developing interest in finance and business interests me. Is MBA for me? Should I leave my job and prepare for CAT full time? Magical electronics, like I said, this is in this entire session I've tried to cover how exactly you can manage your CAT preparation with your work. But again, if you think that you will not be able to, you will not be able to prioritize your work time, yes, you can leave your job and prepare for CAT full time as well. If finance and business interest you more, that does become a good interview answer to have during your MBA entrance. That is why you made that switch, and that is why you highly prioritize CAT, so that you get the top B schools that you can get into. All right. I think if there are not any more comments, I hope this session was helpful. I have tried to cover the basics of it. I tried to cover with my journey as well. I did prepare with my work, and I did score both kind of percentiles with my work, 98.94 as well as 99.83. So depends on how exactly are you doing your efficient time management with work, and if you are able to figure that out, the first few days will be hard, I understand, but once you develop that consistency, once you develop that key, it becomes habitual to you. It becomes a very smooth process to follow, and if you diligently follow that process, because consistency is key in CAT preparation, if you diligently follow that process, 99 percentile or even a 99.9 percentile is not far away, even if you are a working professional. All right, we will put up those links that I mentioned in the description, and all the best on your CAT preparation journey ahead. Looking forward to see you in more webinar sessions. Thank